What is up, Isaac? How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How's it going tonight?
Good, good. How was your weekend? I feel like today has been pretty rough for me. We did some yard work and planted some things in the garden, and man, I am sore. So it's that
We
old
have
age.
we have I don't know, foot or more of snow out there, so there's no planting going on outside.
Ooh, oh yeah, yeah. You guys got doused with a pretty good amount of snow, right?
Yes, we did. It was like the third most snow in a 2-day span than we've had like in the history of Northwest Ohio here. So it was like 16 inches total in 2 days. So it's
That
out
is
there.
rough. Yeah,
Just got back
that
from
is.
skiing, but I enjoy that. I enjoy that. I enjoy the seasons.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, how often do you all get snow in your area?
Oh man, it's all winter, so it's
You just keep getting it.
yeah, but it's the extremes, right? So it was negative, I think it was like -6 was one of the
Mhm.
actual temperatures this week, and then on Saturday it's going to be up to 45. So,
Wow.
wait 15 minutes if you don't like the weather. It changes quickly here in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have a stretch of a couple good days. That's why we got some yard work done. So we were excited to make it look less like garbage in the front yard. So,
Always a good thing.
yeah. But we did get to play some games this weekend, which was exciting. And we're here to talk about games. So this is the game chat. Isaac is with Gaming with Sidekicks, and I'm with One Board Family. And we are two sites that like to talk about family gaming and gaming with our kids and spouses and just all around just building community. So that's why we do this show. So if you have anything
Absolutely.
that you want to chat about in the show, just throw it in the chat and we will try to respond and pay attention to all those comments. So Isaac, we have a topic this week. What is it?
We are talking about one of our favorite mechanics, not necessarily the same mechanic, but
Mm-hmm.
one of our favorite, and to be specific, board game mechanics, not handymen.
Yeah, because this guy Jeff down the street, great mechanic, but I'm not going to talk about him tonight.
Not about Bob, or not about Jeff today.
Not about Jeff or Bob. So we're not
Well,
going to talk about.
I just saw Bob left a comment. He said it was 70 degrees for him today. So
Yeah, it's a little warmer out here. I was glued to the laptop today, so I don't know what the temperature was today. So
that's
I'll
fair.
find out tomorrow.
That's true. It's a good way to find out.
Yeah. Cool. So when we talk about mechanics, you've got everything from tile laying to, I guess, deduction. You can talk about what kind of mechanics, worker placement.
A lot of options.
Yeah, there's tons of options for mechanics. So, what is your favorite mechanic?
Oh, so that was tough because we posed that question this week of
Mm-hmm.
a favorite mechanic, and that's like picking a favorite child, right? Like there's so much you like about certain mechanics. There's
Yeah.
things you like more about others. So it was hard for me to narrow it down, and maybe not my top favorite games fit this mechanic, but I've always really enjoyed deck building in a wide array of fashions, and there's definitely been a history throughout my gaming that's fit into deck building.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love deck builders. I remember just getting addicted to Hero Realms. I taught my son how to play Hero Realms
Yep.
years ago. And every time we would sit down, Hero Realms, Hero Realms. I mean, it's such deck building has this flow to it that's really, really good.
For sure,
So.
for sure. And for me personally, I started, with your general family games. Like we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
But for me in high school, I really got into playing Magic the Gathering. Had a couple of friends. We were kitchen table Magic players. And we
Yeah.
were constantly, I had this deck, and then my buddy builds this deck, and then I build that deck. And it was just, climbing over the top of each other. Crazy. I entered into Magic about the time of just after Unlimited. And for those
Okay.
that are Magic aware, the cards I could have bought and held on to have some serious money value to this
Yeah.
day. I had dual lands that I traded away for comic books.
Yeah,
those cards
yeah.
sell for hundreds and hundreds of dollars now, but I digress. But I enjoyed Magic because I
Yeah.
really liked having this giant pile of cards and saying, okay, what can I create? what can I make, and how is, like, if I can get this combo to fire and make this happen. Like, I loved that aspect of deck building.
Yeah. I remember being into Magic when I was in high school. I got in right before fourth edition. And so that was
Nice.
that was when I got involved, and I had some friends trade me some cards that they weren't using, and they were good. And in fact, I found my Magic cards a couple of years ago, and just started looking through them and stuff. And my son was needing a cell phone, so I actually traded a stack of Magic cards for a cell phone. Couple of years ago, some coworker was still playing Magic, and she played on a competitive level, and I was like, hey, you want some Magic cards? I'll get the cell phone. So
That's awesome.
but yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, we had lots of fun building those teams, and just kind of smashing things up against each other. And I actually got back into Magic during the pandemic,
Really?
as like, okay, I've got I mean, honestly, like, we talk about this with hobbies. Bob and I have talked about this a lot. Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of one of the reasons we got back into sports cards is money that we're not spending on board games or conventions or vacations, and we want to kind of itch a hobby scratch. And
Yeah.
I started getting back into Magic. So the last 3 or 4 sets, I bought a box and I draft it with my son. I love that. We get out 5 packs, we build a team, we play a game with them, and then anything of value that I have, I've been selling to the point where it's pretty much perpetually like funded itself.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
And that's an easy way to play the game. If you're willing to put a little money up front, you get some good cards. I'm not worried about keeping any, particular like hot cards. I just want to move on to the next set and enjoy it. And
Yeah.
it's an easy kitchen table. I have no desire to play it competitively. That's a crazy game to really an expensive game to play competitively.
It absolutely is, and that's why I got out of it ultimately. I just after college, I got into the Star Wars CCG
Oh yeah.
for a while. I really enjoyed the mechanics of that one, and so and then just got out of all of that. Collected Star Wars Destiny, the dice and cards,
Yep, I had
for a
those.
little bit. Yeah, and that's about it. So I think those collector games are kind of that's for somebody else. I don't have much time for it. But tell me about when we talk about deck builders, tell me about the deck builders that stand out in your mind and the ones that you would say this is kind of the reason why this is in my collection.
Sure. I mean, Magic the Gathering moved me into the world of Dice Masters, and I play Dice Masters at a very competitive level. It's one of the reasons why our logo right there has the Sidekicks, which is the little starter pawn dice in Dice Masters. And I love that it's
Nice.
10 cards on the table. You're still building a deck. It's still competitive, but it was an easier way. The entry level is really cheap, and I loved playing that game.
Yeah.
And still have all my collection to this day. But my first big like board game that was a deck builder is the one that a lot of people have on there, with Catan, with Ticket to Ride, is Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
And Dominion is your easy entry level deck builder. It is just pure deck building, right?
Yeah.
Make the best combination, get the win. With the exception of some cards, there really isn't a lot of player interaction. Which is one of the things I didn't like about it. That moved me into Ascension, and as I kind of walked down that roll, I remember at Origins in 2000, was it 16? I'd have to check the year. Seeing this giant section of everybody sitting head to head, playing this small deck game that they had all bought called Star Realms, and it was the hot thing at Origins, right? Everybody was playing it. And Star Realms sucked me right in. Like, I love playing Star Realms. I have it on my phone. I've got games constantly going with people.
That's cool.
It's such an easy deck builder. Right?
It is. Yeah.
And it's a fun 2-player experience. And I've always just loved that about Star Realms. And we talked about a few others you had mentioned, and we talked about like the Toy Story deck builder from the Op and the Harry Potter one. Those are clean, easy deck builders also. But in the recent past, I'd say the ones that have kind of moved to the forefront for me, one is, and I do like this version more, is the Clank in Space.
Clank in Space, yeah.
I just really like the space version. I like everything that's going on with this game. It's a fun version, right, of some dungeon exploration with the deck building.
Yep.
But my favorite, and this made my top 10 of 2020 right now. Probably one of my favorites is Fort. Fort is such an easy to play game from Leader Games. It's a interactive deck builder. There is, like, if you're not paying attention to what the other people are doing, you are in trouble in this game.
Yeah.
And I love the player interaction. I love the deck building. I love the art. I love how small of a package this is. And the production on this game is just absolutely stellar.
It's so good.
Yeah, and so that's kind of been my trajectory, right, of deck building.
Yeah. So Fort's an interesting one because it's a deck builder that feels significantly different than most of the stuff that you're going to find out there.
Right.
When they said it was a deck builder and I started digging into the game, I was just like, wow, it's a deck builder, but it's different. Like this feels a lot different. I think there's some give and take there with Fort that kind of freshens up the formula because everybody knows Dominion and Dominion being that first big deck builder that people got into.
Right.
And then, but there have been some that have come along like Quest for El Dorado. That's one that we love. It's a race game, but it's a deck builder. And so, and there's different ways that you can approach it. And the way that the map is laid out, makes you approach it different ways. It looks like my Facebook feed, my stream on my Facebook feed just went down for no reason. So
oh no,
I don't know. I think we're still live on Gaming with Sidekicks, and we're still live on YouTube. So don't know what that's about. So
yeah, I'm seeing us live over on Facebook.
Yeah, that's really odd. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, we will keep chugging along. So, so my mechanic that I picked was worker placement. It's funny because you and I were talking about this earlier, and I talked about, let's see, just got confirmation live on YouTube. Thank you. So my mechanic is worker placement. We were talking about it, and I was like, I really like tile laying, and there's some really good tile laying games. And then my wife was like, you didn't pick worker placement? I was like, oh no, I need to pick worker placement. I love worker placement games, and some of the ones that I picked out, of course, Viticulture is the one that, with the Grande worker, it is just fantastic worker placement. It is absolutely the pinnacle of worker placement to me. Viticulture, it's so good. It's in my top 10. It's one that I bought for my wife and she fell in love with. And it's one that we always go back to. And so with that Grande worker where you're trying to, where you're actually getting that opportunity to go to a space that's already taken, it really works really well. And then the one that doesn't get talked about quite enough, Coldwater Crown. This one has its worker placement, but you're using these real tokens that have a 1 or a 2 on them, and so you basically cast out with the token that you have, and you reel in with another at another spot on the board. And so it's a really cool take on worker placement, and it's not complex, but there's definitely like some weight to it that you have to think through. Do I want to pull back a 1 or a 2? Each one gives you a perk or, has a value to it. So Coldwater Crown is a great worker placement game. That's not hard to get into,
Bob commented over on our Game of Sidekicks thread, your boy Bob, and he said he's still watching, unfortunately. But he said Coldwater Crown is amazing. It
is really good
as well.
Yep. It is so good. So those are some that I picked out from worker placement on my end that I really, really dig. What else do I have on my list here? I think
Viticulture is probably it's top 3 for me. If it's not number 1, it's definitely everything about the Mamas and Papas. I love the extended season board. Like I could never go back to playing the regular again. Like if he made more content for Viticulture, I'd scoop it up right now just to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great title. And then Lords of Waterdeep, that was something that I played years ago, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I didn't even know it was a D&D property at the time when I was playing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. At the time, my friend brought it over years ago and was like, hey, you want to play this game? I was like, sure, let's check it out. And so he read through the rule book, and I sat there and he taught me, and we were good to go. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So not much D&D in your gaming history?
So actually, I played a lot of Star Wars. I played the Star Wars RPG when I think they re-released the Star Wars RPG because I think there was an 80s version of the RPG, and then in the 90s they re-released it. And I was 14 or 15 at the time when it got re-released. And so I actually bought this big hardbound role-playing book, and I was the only one in our area that knew it. So I would run these Star Wars RPG games down at a local comic shop, and everybody else was playing D&D. So I jumped into D&D off and on over the years, but
Nice.
I've liked the other stuff a little better. So
yeah, I played it some in college. I enjoyed it, but we played kind of fast and loose, made our own campaigns,
yeah,
did our own, kind of fun in stuff. When you're playing with a bunch of guys you're friends with, it's easy to, you constantly kill the one guy because he ticked you off that night. So it's all just this light-hearted fun stuff, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind doing something with a group that I knew really well again someday.
Yep.
I actually did a one-off RPG at the first Origins I went to because I didn't know what to sign up for, so I just kind of randomly signed up for stuff and played a game by it's called Cobalt Ate My Baby. And it's
Really? Okay.
It's Chris O'Neill. I'm trying to think of the name of the company off the top of my head. It's escaping me, but it's the John Kovalik, the guy who does the art for Munchkin, did this. And you play these little kobolds, these little tiny kobold guys. You're going around trying to eat human babies. It was the silliest little thing. You got like one hit and you were dead, and then you had to create a new character because they kept like rolling. But I mean, with the right group, an RPG is a blast. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something I do. It's something in gaming I kind of miss.
Yeah, that's we were playing a role-playing game. We were playing Kids on Bikes on a friend of ours' front porch at the October this year. So we were social distancing and sitting on the porch playing for most of the fall until it got a little too cold to be out there. So,
nice.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So
it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are, when we think about games that share mechanics or have the same mechanics, there's always this tug and pull of like, I can't keep every single version of every single game.
Sure.
So my question is, have there been any games that have replaced other games for you? Maybe something that, I've played this 100 times and I like the way that the mechanics play out in this version better. I'm going to keep this one on the shelf and get rid of this one.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there are some games that you just love the mechanics, so you're fine to have a few copies of, right?
Yeah.
But, the first one actually came to mind for me was a game that like we played the heck out of when we got, which is Splendor, right?
Yeah.
There's such an ease and a simplicity and a beauty to Splendor. Haven't played it for a long time, and if I want to play a game that has that same kind of feel, usually I'll grab this from 25th Century. Right, I'll play Space Explorers. I love the art first and foremost of this game. I love the space theme, and there's something about this game that feels like Splendor but more gamey, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more decisions to be made. It's tighter, and I just this one definitely replaced Splendor for me.
Yep. Yeah, that one has more weight to it. And Space Explorers, I remember playing Splendor. I didn't play Splendor for a couple years after it came out. I was one of those people where people would be like, oh yeah, Splendor gateway game. My first game, Splendor, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never played Splendor. It's kind of like the person at the table who has to admit that they've never played Settlers of Catan,
Sure.
I had never played Splendor. And so Bob actually was like, what? You haven't played Splendor? And so we had to play Splendor. And so he taught me that. But Space Explorers is so good. And it's heavier. I love the artwork. I love the theme. You know, you're racing to build these ships, and it fits that era of the 50s and 60s.
For sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. How about you? Do you have one on your list?
Yeah. So actually, for me, Seven Wonders was a game that I really enjoyed. Some friends of ours have a copy, and we've played it with them multiple times. I've never owned a copy of Seven Wonders, but when we played It's a Wonderful World a couple years ago, I guess it came out 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But when we played It's a Wonderful World, that was it. I was like, I don't have any desire to own Seven Wonders. This is that engine building that I want. This is it. It has all these little aspects that I really enjoy. I love the artwork, and it just that replaced Seven Wonders to me. So when I hear somebody say, "Hey, let's play Seven Wonders," I'm like, "Hey, I got this other game. You want to check this out?"
Yeah, we talked about that last time we were on. Yeah, my family loves it. It's a great game. I can't disagree more. I still have Seven Wonders on my shelf, but I can't even think of the last time I pulled that off the shelf.
Really? Oh, I've heard some people who dislike the game, and I've been like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one. Have you ever played Takedo?
Oh yeah. Oh, love Takedo.
Yeah, Takedo's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takedo is another one. Beautiful game. Really fun to play. But for me, Parks has replaced Takedo. It is that, you're going on this journey. You're going to see these things. There's some set collection. There's really beautiful components and beautiful cards. And so Parks has replaced Takedo easily for me.
Nice. There was something we played recently. I can't think of it that had that same, like, moving down the line, take action. I can't think of it, but yeah, Parks. I think I'm gonna end up I'm gonna feel guilty if I don't get that at some point and play it, as it's come up. I think every single one of our discussions here. So I definitely need to get that in my gameplay. So actually, another one that's kind of Tokaido like. So Carcassonne, like I have two of the giant big box Carcassonnes from when we started playing games. I mean, we played those until the edges were like, if I could have sleeved tiles, I would have sleeved those. I love a good tile line game. And two games that kind of replaced it from like a tile perspective. One is Sorcerer's City. Like I love Sorcerer's City. I love the speed. I love the timed aspect of it. I love that it's a different game every time we play. I love the bidding. Like it's a fun, quick game, and I love that. And the other one that's tile laying that I really, really enjoy, it's in my definitely top 10, maybe creeping into my top 5, that has the same kind of rondelle movement, is Glenmore 2.
Okay. I've played Glenmore online, but I haven't played it in person.
Glenmore 2?
I don't know. I think so.
So it's got the rondelle where you're picking the tile pieces as you go.
It's on TTS, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yep. I think I have.
I love the tile laying of that game. I love that there's so many modules. The game comes with like 8 modules to make it easier, make it harder, make it different. Like I love that. I love making whiskey. It's just it's a fun game all around. So
that expandability, those expansions like make it completely replayable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Southern Fried Gaming Expo on YouTube said, love Parks. Speaking of Southern Fried Gaming Expo, August 20th through 22nd, 2021 is going to be the new dates for Southern Fried Gaming Expo. So I know you're not in the South, but Southern Fried Gaming Expo is amazing.
Where does that take place?
It takes place in Atlanta. It is my favorite convention. It's arcade games and virtual reality and board games and vendors and geek culture. It's fantastic. So
nice.
Yeah. Look up SFGE if you get a chance. Really cool.
Chad Elkins from 25th Century just jumped into the chat over in our Facebook groups. Our shout out Space Explorers. We're talking about some good favorites.
I got my Space Explorers mat right behind me. Right.
I need a Space Explorers mat.
There. It's right there. So hanging on a coat hanger. So
So what else? What else is on your replace list? You got another one on there?
So yeah, so Castles of Burgundy kind of has replaced Catan for us. I played a lot of Settlers, when Aaron and I got married, and that was kind of that, and Ticket to Ride were kind of our gateway games for a lot of people to bring into the hobby. And Settlers, it just does the same thing over and over. And I feel like Castles of Burgundy, there's a lot more depth to it. And
Sure.
I remember buying Castles. We talked about this in our segment last week 2 weeks ago, about buying the gift giving to our spouse, giving a game to our spouse. And Castles of Burgundy was that game that, like, my wife loves that game. And even the dice game, when we don't have time for a full on Castles game, we bust out the dice game because it still has that feel,
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah.
I think the last one I had, we actually both used Risk as a thing. I used to love playing Risk as a kid. We used to play it, young marrieds before we got into the hobby. And so combat, and I like your choice. I'll let you give your choice too. But two other games I thought of for me were Root and Rurik. Were both dudes on a map, combat games that are doing so much more than just rolling the dice and camping out in Australia, right? And so I really like those games for what they bring to the kind of dudes on a map combat system. Both being, especially Root, is just such an awesome, unique game.
Small World was the one that replaced Risk for me. I played Risk with when we did college ministry and youth ministry. Playing Risk with teenagers and young adults was a normal thing. Lots of memories from Risk games and long late night Risk matches. But when I played Small World, I was like, hold on, I can play four games of Small World in the same amount of time that it takes me to play one game of Risk. Okay, I guess I'm playing Small World. I've even we've got a friend who loves playing Risk, and he invites us over every once in a while for a Risk game night. And we've actually thought about, hey, why don't we introduce him to Small World? I think it might be a good fit. So
might be one you'd enjoy. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're getting to what are we playing this month? What are you playing either right now, or what have you been playing?
Chad Elkins said Small World, he loves it because it's chaotic and fun.
It is.
Wholeheartedly agree. The chaos is the best part of that game.
It really is.
So I got two games at my table this past weekend that I really enjoyed. One, I'm gonna start with the small one here. It's a Kickstarter that's going to be coming real soon from our friends over at Pencil First Games, and this is Floriferous. If you enjoy anything they do, Whatnot Cabinet, Herbaceous, this is right in the realm of all those games. I mean, it even says it's a relaxing game is what it titles itself as. Nice. It's a very easy game of flower collection. You're walking around your garden, you're collecting flowers. It's beautiful artwork, which they have been consistent within this game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You've got flowers that are just
I'm gonna put you full screen so we can look at that flowery goodness.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean they're just so well done.
Yeah.
And when you do this, it's again like most of their games, like a 15-minute game. It's quick and easy, and you're done. And so this is a great, like, my 17-year-old daughter, would you like to play a game with us? She's like, okay, do I know it? And is it quick? And this one was one I could teach.
Are you sure our daughters are not the same person? I feel like it's the exact same conversation.
Yeah, and Chad said, and yeah, you can absolutely tell it's all watercolor art, and it's just so well done. Highly recommend. Make sure you check it out. It's gonna be on Kickstarter here next month.
Okay.
From Pencil First Games. Yeah, and Chad said easy back with Pencil.
Absolutely. Pencil First they're one of those companies that's very easy to say, oh, they've got something coming to Kickstarter, I'm jumping in it. So
yeah.
Speaking of Kickstarter and gardening, Three Sisters. So this is such a good game. It's Ben Pinchback, Matt Riddle. They're the ones behind Fleet the Dice game. Three Sisters is a little deeper, I think. than Fleet the Dice game, but it is a roll and write. It's a beautiful roll and write where you are running a backyard garden. Three Sisters is phenomenal. It's such a good game. So we're going to be doing a full preview of this game. Both Aaron and I have really, really loved it. It's funny, Aaron is not that hype about Fleet the Dice game. I'm the one who's always asking to play that. But both of us have really enjoyed Three Sisters. This has been a big hit for us.
So is that coming soon? Is that currently?
That's going to be coming in March. I think it's the end of the first week of March or second week of March. I've got to check the exact date, but it's coming first part of March.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we talked about a couple of weeks ago, we talked about actually our first show, we talked about games that we wish we had gotten in 2020. I pulled the trigger on it.
Oh, there you go.
I got bees. So I talked about the fact that this was a game that was so pretty, and I wanted to get a copy of it just because we like what Next Move is doing. We like the look of it, bees and pollination. I mean, this whole hive board that's going on here. It's inlaid.
Wow.
It's so nice. It's really, really nice.
Awesome.
So, and then you've got your sweet looking bees right here.
Well, those are good size.
Yeah, they're good sized bees. They're pretty cool. So, it feels like you're figuring out a puzzle each turn and just trying to figure out the best way to get around this floral board. So, yep.
Nice.
So I'm glad I picked it up.
Origins has always been my pickup for all the new next gen Plan B. Usually my stack is yay high from there of all their stuff. So,
absolutely.
That's definitely on my hopefully sometime this year to check out from them.
That's cool.
Second game I've been playing, just got this one as a review copy. Wasn't sure, had only heard really good things about it, but man, if this is not one of the more fun games I've played this year is Moonrakers. Recent Kickstarter finished ups, and you can buy it right from their site right now. But speaking of deck builders, this is innately what this game is. It's a deck builder. You start kind of like Dominion. You have play an action, play card, and once you get kind of your hand, you're buying cards out of your hand. You're trying to finish these projects, and you need other people to help you. And the best part of it is negotiation. And if you get the right group of guys, and so we got a vaccination crew of gamers that it was wheeling and dealing. I'll give you this, you give me that. No, don't go with him. I'll go with you. It's like, it's a game you've got to play with the right group that's willing to kind of like stab each other and
that's
have
really cool
with it. But you're racing up to 10 points. So somebody gets a lead. You're trying to see if you can hose them over a little bit. And it was a blast. I absolutely just had a hoot playing it at the table.
Love the box art and that UV coat. Yeah. Oh man, so nice.
And it's all the art inside is all kind of that futuristic space type of theme. And the best part is like all the cards are unique.
Yeah.
Chad just asked. He said he regretted not backing it. Yeah, it's available if you go over to their website. It's got the nice heavy duty metal coins in it, which is always awesome to have. But the ships are the cards have a very kind of that futuristic art style to them. So a lot of fun. Highly recommend this one.
That's great.
Very, very good time.
That's cool. We've been playing my last one. We've been playing Luxor a lot on Board Game Arena. My friend, Rick, who writes with us, Rick and I have been playing Luxor usually at night. 10 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, Luxor? And one of the nights, Aaron was like, I want to play something. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I taught her how to play Luxor, and we've been playing. We pretty much every night we play Luxor on BGA. And so we'll be sitting there in bed and playing Luxor, and we're going back and forth, beating each other each night. It's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. So Luxor on BGA, if you want a good time and just hang out and trash talk with your spouse, that's the way we do it.
Quick, because I can only see like this much of it. What's on your shirt today?
Oh, so I've got, this is Dad Goals. So
okay.
It's got 11.
Nice.
Paper. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that. I went with the it's now defunct, but this is the malted meatball.
Okay.
And, unfortunately, they closed their doors this year
Yeah.
with the pandemic. But I was so happy to be able to go and check them out. They did an awesome job. I'm hoping maybe in the future they'll be able to do something good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once things return to normal. So
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. So I think to sign off here, you've got Gaming with Sidekicks is doing a little something online. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Over on our main site and on our Instagram page, our main Facebook page, we have a copy of from Lucky Duck. We're doing, actually, it's sitting back here, Kingdom Rush, Rift in Time. This box is ginormous.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a child, ginormous. It's a great game. They're currently on GameFound right now doing part 2, but we're giving away a copy of Rift in Time, which is the first one.
That's awesome.
They graciously agreed to do that to help kind of check them out. Go over to our Facebook page, our Instagram, Game with Sidekicks, and sign up. We'll be running this through the end of their campaign and get a chance to get a really fun co-op tower defense game.
That's really cool. You guys sign up over at Gaming with Sidekicks. That's awesome. Win yourself a wonderful game from Lucky Duck Games. So very cool.
Also, Bob said you need to go buy Luxor now.
So Aaron and I talked about it. We're probably going to pick up Luxor because we're going to want to play it. Even when we get gaming back on our table, we're gonna definitely want to play that. So yeah. Cool.
Bob said that was the first time we had met. Was you guys were playing Luxor at the Queen?
That's right.
Queen Booth at Origins. So
we were playing Queen Booth at Origins. It was like 10 o'clock at night. You came walking by, and Bob was like, "Let me introduce you to this guy." And so that's exactly where we met. Yep.
That's funny.
So,
and then Chad told me to quit name dropping. Not all of us are as cool to have met Isaac. So. Next convention, Chad. Next convention.
Yeah. Well, Chad's always at Southern Fried Gaming Expo, so it looks like you have to make a trip to Atlanta. So
I have to head south. I do enjoy going to Atlanta. I don't enjoy driving Atlanta, but I enjoy going that way.
Cool. Very cool. So if you like this has been the Game Chat. We do this every other Monday. Isaac, thank you so much for doing this with me, and thank you for getting your community involved and us getting One Board Family involved and doing something to have fun together. So yeah.
For sure. It's been a blast.
Where can people find Gaming with Sidekicks?
You can find us over just at www.gamewithsidekicks.com. We had a presence over on Facebook, Instagram, are kind of our main outlets and social media. And we're kind of slowly getting the podcast train rolling again with Stuart, who's one of our 4 guys on our team. So we put one out last week talking about the games we're excited about for 2021. And
nice.
We're going to be recording something this week. So I don't know what we're recording yet, but we'll be recording something.
Very cool. And you can find us at oneboardfamily.com, all over social media at One Board Family. Thanks so much. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Sounds good. Have a good night.